Welcome and thank you for tuning in to this very first episode of Errant Update. This will be the show where I talk about wargaming, going-ons in Errant Painting and in the wargaming community. My thoughts on this and that. I'll try to stick to one topic per episode so that if you're watching from the future, it'll be easier to navigate. And if you are, how good is 3D printing by now? If there is something you would like me to cover in an Errant Update, some topic you think it would be interesting to hear me talk about, or if you have questions, always feel free to comment below. I will almost guarantee that any questions will be answered and every topic will be covered, at least for now. And before I start, thanks to those who have subscribed, those who are liking and commenting. It is a huge motivation. I mean, this have really made my hobby time way more fun. Especially a big thanks to Nikita, who sent me work in progress pictures of his Shadow War Armageddon walkways. You can see that here. Looking quite nice. And if you want to make your own walkways, the video guide is up here in the corner. Or up there. I forget. Today's topic will be New Games Workshop, Shadow War Armageddon, and Warhammer 40k 8th edition. There is a lot to talk about there, but I'm just gonna focus on my current thoughts on the going-ons in that general area. So, first of all, ever since the release of Age of Sigmar, the community have been buzzing about how Games Workshop were going to end the 40k universe in some cataclysmic event and reboot everything and dumb it down. And let's be real, they would never do that as long as the universe as a franchise sell this well. And the counter argument to that would be, but millions of people loved Warhammer Fantasy. And to that I'll say, did they really? Did they? Because most of my friends were raging about Age of Sigmar coming out and the world ending. And I've taken the time and asked them, did you play Warhammer Fantasy in the past few years? And it turns out none of them did. Everybody had that romantic idea of Warhammer Fantasy from back when they were kids and just getting started. And then they moved on to other wargames, but always identified themselves as a Skaven player or an Empire player or Dark Elf player. So what was lost with the old world were more like people's idea of fantasy battles. I know a lot of people who play the role-playing game. I like to read some of the novels. I'm a huge fan of Felix and Guthrie. But all of that is still around and still available. So I think that the whole Age of Sigmar rage is a classic internet phenomenon that happens whenever anybody changes anything. Down in the core, we nerds don't like change, not one bit. On the other hand, I don't know a lot of people who play Age of Sigmar, but the ones I've talked to and the ones I've followed on YouTube all love it. A lot of people who don't play don't like the setting, and that's fine, but the ones who got into it seems to be really into it. So when it was announced that Games Workshop would base the new edition of 40k upon their experience and what they've learned when releasing Age of Sigmar, there was another cry out, especially about, oh my god, the rules would be dumped down and stuff like that. And dumped down? Streamlined? I mean, I stopped playing 40k back when 3rd edition were released because I couldn't get my head around the rule set. It just didn't feel right. I didn't really like it. So I continued playing Necromunda and Gorgamorga for a long time, played tons of Mordheim. And when 6th edition were released, at that time I was starting to hang out with a 40k crowd. So I started first a Dark Angel army, and then the Imperial Knights came and I was blown away. So I bought a bunch of Imperial Knights and I just kept buying. But whenever I had some small army painted up and went to play, I didn't really enjoy it half as much as I did talking about the lore and painting the miniatures. The game itself was way too heavy. I mean, I've caught myself going down to the store to get a soda while my opponent was taking his turn because it simply took so long. And that's not exciting. The action were completely gone. Also, I'm not much for huge armies and tons of models. I like skirmish games or small force army games, which is why the Imperial Knights really appealed to me, because then I would just have 3 or 4 guys But even then, people would be like, it's no fun playing against Imperial Knights because half my army can't hurt them, or they would tool their army so that the Knights wouldn't be able to do anything because they would just be slaughtered. But now it seems they're taking into consideration that gaming should be fun. They're going back to a lot of the cool things from 2nd edition, but what I never liked in 2nd edition were the vehicle rules. And those they're finally fixing, doing what we've been asking them to do since forever. Just making the vehicles have toughness and wounds. That simple. It'll make them more viable, as a lot of people have said, but also make the game just move faster, because you don't have to change your mindset completely when you are playing with or against an armored force. And I like that. I really, really do. Also, they are bringing in mortal wounds from Age of Sigmar, and it is my hope that this will replace D weapons and D as a damage type in general, because mortal wounds seems to work a lot better. They're really, really dangerous, ignoring invul saves, but they're not just picking titans off the board in one shot. So hopefully they'll do that. The only reason I even know that 8th edition is coming out is Shadow War Armageddon. I caught some news on Facebook about it and started researching and were like, wow, they're basing it on the 2nd edition rules. And that was smart, because this didn't only happen to me. This happened to a lot of guys that haven't been playing a lot since 2nd edition. People like us got into Shadow War Armageddon and learned about New Games Workshop. That they now seem to be much nicer people, that they seem to care about their fans, that they actually listen to feedback. They're back to going to conventions. They're sending out copies of their products for review and testing. And in general, they're doing all the things that people hated them for not doing. So anyway, Shadow War Armageddon comes out, and me and my wife goes berserk, because we love skirmish games. We've been playing the hell out of Mordheim and Frostgrave, and I've been wanting to introduce her to the 40k universe, and she were like looking at the options back when they said you can already choose what warband you want to get into, and she was like, ooh, there are Dark Elves. So we made this Dark Elder Witch kill team, and I just found some old scouts and started magnetizing. And as soon as we had the rulebook, we started just playing with the terrain we already had, and it was just fun. I mean, it was fast-paced. The missions are ever-changing due to the Promethean Sprawl table. We've been playing it like every weekend, and we haven't had a feeling of two games being too similar yet. This has gotten us into the web stores where Games Workshop products are sold, picking up boxes that we would never have bought otherwise. And it has made us visit the Warhammer community page quite a lot, because we're getting our free PDFs with multiplayer rules and extra kill team rules, and while we're there, we can't help but notice 8th edition. This way Games Workshop have lured back in their old customers who has been elsewhere for many years, and are now saying, hey, the next edition of Warhammer 40k is basically what you want. Actually, they said straight up, this is the edition you've been asking for. And that's a smart move, I think, because now I'm sort of getting hyped on it, and I want to start collecting boxes and try stuff out, because it's not that expensive, and you can get a small force, play some skirmish games, test it out, have fun painting something different. So, all in all, and I might sound like a White Knight or a GW fanboy, but I do understand why a lot of people feel like they're losing something. The people who grew up with 5th, 6th, 7th edition might actually feel exactly like I did back when I was young and 3rd edition came out. But I think you should give it a chance. Paint up some cool models and have fun. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed our little chat. Be sure to comment below, like, subscribe, you know the deal. Also, I have pages on various social network websites now, so check the links in the description. Check back here soon for more content. So, yeah, take care and bye-bye.